Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
Hold on, let me turn my volume down. That hurt my ears. And this is John.
JD, I had a burp before the show, and Dave started right as I was about to burp, so I had to hold it in, and now I feel gross.
Well, you are gross.
It's like my wife.
Well, she's been telling me things.
He tells everybody that, so
I know.
Don't feel special.
And so we start right at the bottom.
Oh, of course.
That's what we do.
Then you can only work your way up.
It can only get better from here. Not really.
No.
So, Mr. Burpee, let's start with you then. How was your week? Anything exciting?
I worked on them. I spent the weekend redoing my paperback covers because I wasn't happy with them. So I'm not a designer, but I spent some time. I stole liberally from other designs, and I'm really happy with how I fixed them. So I'm very happy with the work I put in. I have just enough rudimentary Photoshop skills to get by passively. So I'm really happy with how these turned out. And today I woke up at 5 a.m., went to the gym, got a good hour squat workout in, did a hard half hour in the elliptical, came home, took the kid to swimming practice, had my own wrestling practice, wrestled live with the kids. I broke my nose today, as you can see on the video.
You broke it?
It's broke. And then it was something that kind of shot out of there for a second and then pushed back in. So yeah, man, it's been a good day. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired right now.
Wait, whoa.
I broke it 100 times.
Wait, stop, rewind. You cartilage coming out of here, and you just put...
No, it actually happened and the kid crushed it. I heard it crunch, and I think what happened, it poked out and then went back in. I didn't do it on my own. I think it just happened.
So like when you're watching an action hero and somebody breaks their nose and they just grab it and like that, that's a real thing?
Oh yeah, it's cartilage.
So
I don't think I've ever shown you guys this. I'm going to take my headphones off for a second. So if you look at my ear, this is my cauliflower ear. I always wear headphones, so you can't tell. This is as far as it bends.
Oh.
If you look close here, it's all thick and calcified. It don't move because the cartilage was broken and then filled with pus. And then when I remove the pus, it scars over. And now it's like a bone.
Oh, well, if we're going to do that.
Oh, man.
So this is a good reason to do the video this week and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see the grossness that's all over my face.
That I actually was going to say that at some point in this episode is, for those who don't know, we always forget to mention it. We're on YouTube now. We're on youtube.com/superhero speak. It's an actual video podcast every week now because, we're beautiful.
It has been for the last year. You guys don't comment on my beard. My beard's coming pretty nice.
Yeah, you forgot to shave this morning. All right.
This is 3 months or 2 months, but I can't grow anything right here. Isn't that crazy?
I have a scar.
Do you have Asian in you?
Asian? No, I got Northern Ireland. They say the eyes can get a little bit slanty, and so I got that going on. But I'm not the first person who said, are you kind of part Asian? Because I do have some narrow eyes, but no.
And you can't grow facial hair, so I mean it's.
I've met many Japanese men who have very impressive beards, so I think that is a stereotypical myth.
Every martial arts master, that's even a stereotype.
3 white guys going into this territory. Perhaps we should pull back.
One of my best friends is of Asian descent, and he tries growing beards.
Well, I know a lot. I mean, this. I'm 40, and this is the most facial hair I've ever had in my life. So I'll just attribute to the fact that I'm playing catch up. So maybe
I grew a more impressive beard when I was in college. And now this is as dark as it gets.
Oh, that's old age too. I like this thing. This is natural. I don't grow anything up here. So I'm thinking about when it is time to shave, I'm gonna do the Colonel Sanders and just give a little bit down here, a little bit out here. See how long I take before my wife yells at me. So
won't be long.
No, probably a day. So I'll probably get a good day with it. But it'll be
welcome to Facial Hair Speaks.
It's the banter. People like the banter.
Well, John, since you're upset about the facial hair since you can't grow any, how was your week?
It was good. It was good. Literally nothing to say. I've got a wedding in 2 weeks.
You getting married?
What? No. God.
Never.
Oh,
never again, right?
I'm a post 50-year-old geek. My dating prospects are basically nil in like bumfuck Pennsylvania. So yeah, but no, I got really nothing. I reread Stormfront by, was it the Harry Dresden books by Jim
Yeah.
Butcher. So
We're gonna review that soon. I bought it. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
I actually downloaded the audio version to listen to.
they were done by the guy who did Spike, Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
James Marsden.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard he did a wonderful job. He's done almost every book that Jim Butcher put out.
Yes, I haven't listened to it yet, but I've heard that as well. So
You guys got me kind of excited to read that, so I'm very curious to check this out. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh God, it's wait until you get into book 2. Like book 2 really starts everything off. He like puts Chekhov's guns in there that are still firing off in like book
Yes.
15, and just the characters, the number of characters, and the
it's shocking how many seeds he's laid down throughout the books that pay off in later books. It's not just like there's definitely through stories. It's not, oh, I just thought of this. You know, you can tell.
It's like he thought of everything in book 2. He's made a couple of adjustments, but
Right.
for the most part, it's still all to his plan.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to reading this one.
Well.
So yeah, otherwise, I got nothing. Like
Got nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing, honey.
not.
That's an old joke.
Yes, it
That
is.
is an old joke.
We're old people, so
That's
we can
true.
tell old jokes.
Fair enough.
What
Well,
about
Oh,
what about?
Well, he asked you second, so you have to follow it up. That's how it goes.
Oh, so moving on to today's news.
Brutal.
ouch.
Brutal.
Ow. So I've had an interesting and busy week myself, to be quite honest. For one, like I said, I downloaded the Dresden Files. I haven't started listening to it yet, but I'm excited. I don't normally do books on tape kind of thing, but you know, Audible's a thing. I'm like, let me give this a try. So
Audible is a thing.
yes, and I walk a lot, so I can listen to it while I walk. That's the plan. And I had mentioned last week I was thinking about starting a second podcast, and I am in the midst of putting that together. I've actually recorded the first 2 episodes of it. I was editing the first one today. The first one is just a quick 15-minute introduction of like who I am and why I'm doing this. And the second one is an interview with a good friend of this show.
The show's
Don.
friends. Oh, Don.
Oh, Don.
Yes. Because I told him about it, and he's like, "Oh, that's exciting," and he wanted to be on it, so he is the first guest. I already have a guest lined up for the second and third episode, so this is going to be a thing. I will say this: it's good and bad in the sense of they're evergreen things, so I can record a bunch of them and stack them up and just release them every week. It's not like I'm talking about news like we do on this show. I have to have a schedule of record, edit, put it out, market, and repeat. Like this, I can just put them out there and see. And I'm not planning to try to monetize this show, so it's just going to be, I just put it out in the world and see what happens, kind of thing. Let the guests promote it that are on it, and I'll promote it a little bit. There is a Twitter for it. The show is going to be called Spiritually Speaking.
I like you kept the branding.
Yes, of course. That's my thing.
Synergies.
Yes, I like it.
I'm feeling synergies.
And it's at Spiritly Speak 8, because apparently Spiritly Speaking is too long for Twitter. But I saw it and I'm like, I'm going to keep it because the 8's like an infinity sign turned on its side. So I like the idea. So that is the Twitter handle, and yeah, my plan is to release all three episodes right away, because that's an old podcasting trick I learned after the show started, but apparently it's a way to get on the charts right away. So to get recognized on the new and noteworthy, we'll see.
I like it.
So yeah,
Good for you.
I will let everyone know once that is out and available. And yeah, what else? Oh, and then, so, Facebook's a thing, right?
Well, yeah.
That we all love and adore.
It's a wasteland.
Well,
it's a horrible, horrible wasteland.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Facebook does this, memories that pop up.
I do appreciate Facebook memories. I'll give you that. When I was happier and less hatred of the platform.
And a memory popped up today, and it was me and John.
Oh God. I mean,
4 years ago at Wizard World.
I thought you burned the prince.
Prince? What year is this? Photo prince? Okay, deep
Well,
throat.
by the prince.
Do we get rid of the
I
microfiche?
mean the hard drive that they were saved on.
So anyway,
I got a problem with my 8-track. Should we deal with that too?
It's me and John with Rusty at Wizard World 4 years ago. It was a picture that Rusty posted, and I looked at the guy in that picture, not John and not Rusty, but me, and I was like, "Oh my God, who the hell is this?" So
You're a different human being, man.
You basically lost to me.
Yeah.
So I put the two pictures up, and it's funny because I took a picture after I was done my workout this morning, and I put the two pictures up side by side, and it's like, yeah, I still got weight to lose, but oh my God, I didn't realize the progress until I like looked at these two pictures next to each other.
Well, we've told you.
Yeah. But it's different seeing, like I get it. Like it's different seeing it, especially when you're trying to lose weight, you become, this is a wrestler problem, so I get it. Like you become super body conscious, and sometimes you need to go back and look at stuff to see like how far you've come, because it's very easy to sit there and go, I'm not where I'm at yet, I'm not happy,
Right?
And forget like where you were when you started. Like you look like a different human being, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
and
the hair helps too.
And the whole thing too was like at the workout today was like I bumped up the weight for my bicep curls. I bumped up the weight for my chest, so I'm like feeling really good. That's why I took the picture afterwards, and then I get home and that popped up on my feed and I'm like, oh my God, okay, I am doing something here. So yeah, it was a good day in that sense. Horrible day in other ways. No.
You didn't even have to use your AK. Today was a good day. That too old? Is that too new a joke for you guys? That's an Ice Cube joke from the 90s.
What is this, 90s, 1890s?
There's a mysterious hand locking.
Mysterious hand locked my door. I feel like the spirit of Cthulhu was coming in for a moment.
They locked you in.
Thing jokes I get.
Oh, John, I
wait. The Thing as in the Fantastic Four, or Thing 1 and Thing 2 from the Cat in the Hat?
No,
or Thing from Addams
I'm talking
Family.
Addams Family, yes.
Oh, because it was that hand that just came in the door.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Speaking of which, I successfully turned John into a victim in a book.
Yes.
Yes, you are you own a turkey factory in Wisconsin, and you were executed brutally.
Well, if I owned a turkey factory, I'd want to be executed.
No, you were quite wealthy. Quite wealthy. That's why you became a target.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I love it. He is a turkey.
Is this going to be like the Wilhelm thing in like CinemaSins, where every time he hears a Wilhelm scream in another movie, it's like, and there go the Western Wilhelms, and there go the Wilhelms of the Star Wars universe.
I do want to keep this up and have this stay here every now and then, just to see if anybody ever catches that, picks up on it, and be like, hey, wait a minute. I just want to keep throwing it out there to see if, and not address it, just put it out there and see if anybody ever really picks it up.
They'll start to think, wait a minute, is there an immortal guy named John O'Grady in this book somewhere? It's like, is this
I might be able to work
that.
I might be able to use that in something eventually.
I think eventually it will be revealed that John was some kind of immortal and will be the villain in a book.
He could be a Highlander. Oh, hey, it's not a bad idea. Let me write that down.
Or some evil spirit that keeps inhabiting people's bodies.
Oh, also, I forgot to say, I wanted to also mention that, so like, I was looking at the two pictures and I posted them side by side on Facebook, one of those things. And it was one of those things where I just said what I just said now, like, oh my God, I can't believe the progress. I don't want to ever be that guy again. And I just want to say to all my friends and family who listen to the show, which is probably 3.
Well,
oh, maybe it'll go up to 4 this week. Thank you for everyone who liked the post and commented on it. That's the whole thing too, right? Because you do this and you're not getting feedback from people. And I didn't put the post up there so people would say, oh wow, look at you, you're great. I was just saying, oh my God, I'm just seeing this. But so I'm just wanted to say I appreciate everyone that liked and commented on it. So it was madness. It was pure madness. You know what else is madness, guys?
Oh geez, that was clumsy, but okay. But we'll go with it.
A social media madness. So I'm going to start with this is what I was going to say. We're on YouTube. guys, you can watch us. If you're listening to this, you can actually get a video version on YouTube, and the latest episode is up on YouTube, and we actually got a comment on it. And the comment is from Chappie, and it says, "Hey guys, thanks for the shout out. Neanderthal Chappie on the Twitters. Regarding J.J. Abrams, I actually liked Force Awakens, but he destroyed Luke's legacy to prop up Rey at odds with OT story arc. With his OT story arc.
OG?
It says OT, but he probably meant OG. And made Han
original trilogy.
Original trilogy. Oh, thank you. You know, us old people don't get these abbreviations. And made Han a deadbeat dad.
Yep.
He failed to deliver a Luke, Leia, and Han reunion, which is what everyone wanted. He could have respected the original characters while passing the torch to Rey, Poe, and Finn. So, yes and no. I think part of the problem is, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher passed away. So they never got the reunion in that sense. And my understanding, you know, Harrison Ford wanted to die.
Yeah, didn't want to do it. He wasn't interested.
Didn't want to do it, right.
Yeah, but he didn't have to like die like that.
That's what he wanted. He wasn't going to do the movie. No, it's the better way to die. That's great. That's the best part of Force Awakens.
Yeah.
It is. The death of Han Solo. Like it meant something to the story. It's one of the it's like the emotional crux of the film. We didn't get the rich, they never get to be fed. And people are so stupid. They think they want people happy in these stories. No, you don't. That's boring. It's boring. People together happy and sitting around. We got our Ewok fire where they were cooking stormtroopers and eating them. That's what they were doing, by the way. They were eating them.
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
They absolutely were eating it, but we ignore that because they're cute, but they were absolutely eating those stormtroopers. But we ignore that. And like, you want drama. You think you want happiness. Anytime people are happy in movies, television, whatever, people stop watching.
This is true.
Moonstruck, example one.
It's that old thing. As soon as they tie the knot, it's over, right?
Moonstruck, baby.
Bones
Moonstruck. No, I'm sorry.
and...
Not Moonstruck. Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis.
Right. Yeah.
Moonlighting.
Thank you. I
That's
knew it was a moon. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yes.
It doesn't work, man. We didn't want like that. That doesn't make it better. And there's like again, I'm disappointed with what we heard. They were just slapdashing these movies together. But the death of Han Solo and the fact that Luke is bothered by the sins of his past are literally the best things of the movie, of any of those three movies. So disagree. Unfortunately, Carrie Fisher dies. But what are you gonna do?
It just made them all look incompetent, though. These are the people that destroyed, like, 2 Death Stars. They should not have been that incompetent.
No, they absolutely should be in that incompetent, because when you get old, you lose your touch. Haven't we seen that? That when you're not as sharp, and it shouldn't be on them. It shouldn't be on 65-year-olds to save the universe. The sins of the father need to fall upon the next generation, because it continuously happens. Right? Is like Luke. I love Mark Hamill's like discussion of it, where Luke's hubris is what brings his downfall.
Yeah,
like, that's good storytelling.
I kind of feel the missed opportunity was, in my opinion, the prequels. Like they shouldn't have made the prequels. No one cared.
That's a different argument, but you're not wrong.
No one cared about that. They should have continued the movies at that point and showed Luke as an adult trying to train Jedis and having a downfall, have a storyline that way, as opposed to like, now he's an old man and we're getting a flashback and, trying to make it fit in with these new characters. And I don't know.
It's a little, again, the big problem is they didn't have an overarching plan, and they didn't quite know what they wanted to do with Ben Solo. Right. So it doesn't really work because there's never really an idea. And they just throw Palpatine at you, like, oh, Palpatine's back. And it's like in the opening scroll, he's back. Like, again, these movies are flawed. Don't get me wrong. And
they introduced him coming back in, what is it, the video game?
That's a terrible way
PUBG.
to tie into a movie.
Yeah, it was PUBG, I think it was.
I'll take your word for it if that's what they introduced the idea of bringing him back. Like, and I don't hate the idea of Palpatine being the force behind Lord Snoke, Emperor Snoke. I forget what they call him. Yeah, Snoke. But I mean, like, I don't hate that idea. I hate the execution because it comes out of nowhere. Right? The biggest problem is Kathleen Kennedy just made three movies that had really, when you look back on it, not much narrative tissue. right? Like it should have been more the story of the next generation, and it wasn't. Because what the hell does Poe do? What the hell does Finn do? Right? It becomes this weird, awkward love story with Rey and Ben that doesn't go anywhere. Like there's a lot of missed opportunities, but I think we focus on the stuff that doesn't really matter because it really wasn't. It's not supposed to be Luke, Leia, and Han's story anymore. They're supposed to be background characters as much
Right.
as much as Obi-Wan Kenobi is a background character in the original trilogy, the OT, if you will.
Yes, the OT. Now we know. All right. Well, let's not beat a dead horse. let's beat a very well built man with a CGI removed mustache. So, of course, we talked about the Highlander reboot, possibly starring our favorite Superman, Henry Cavill, and
I do love Henry Cavill.
Gary Bloom retweeted us saying, "How can you have another Highlander? Does the phrase 'there can be only one' mean nothing?"
No,
Yes.
not when you've seen those. Yeah, not when you've seen those movies.
But they like money.
And then someone replied, Andrew Schweitzer replied to him and said, "Of course it means nothing. How else do you explain the sequels?"
There you go, my man. See, this dude knows what he's talking about. Thank you, Andrew. I hope you listen to the show.
And then he said, "It's just one more story, too long, and they had to cut it up into a few pieces." No,
Homie's all over the place with this tweet.
no,
Man.
no, Gary. If you watch it, there was never a plan for a sequel.
Yep.
It was supposed to be a standalone movie, but it made money, which is the curse of Hollywood.
Especially in the 80s when you didn't plan for these things.
And to sit there and say that there can be only one, but this is a reboot, so it doesn't matter. It's a whole new take on the story. And the Cash Grab Cinema said, as long as they add a CGI mustache, I'm in.
Wow.
Wow. So
I can't wait for this Highlander reboot. I really can't. Because when Mario Van Peebles came into the last one, it was all downhill. So,
oh yeah. That was just ugh. Of course, we talked about the rumor. I'm going to keep saying this is a rumor, but it was fun to talk about, that they're going to make a Fast and Furious Jurassic Park crossover.
it's the most ridiculous rumor we've ever encountered, and I adore it.
But of course, you know, they're going to take them into space. So, I mean, it's the next logical step, right? Conflicted agent of reason said, but question mark, no!
That is one hell of a Twitter handle.
The recasted podcast, said, I won't say I wouldn't watch it, but it better have a good trailer.
You damn well better. Like, unless there's Vin Diesel like talking about family when he's running away from a velociraptor, what are we doing?
The dinosaurs, they're like family.
I mean, you just wrote the script. You give the man $1 million.
That is about the extent. And then the tweet that JD said wins.
Oh, I like this one.
Says wins social media madness, and we don't have to ever do it again.
I was hoping, but no, this is a good tweet. Actually,
Tom D said Jurassic Car Park. Dinos steal parked sports cars. The cars are fast and the dinos are furious.
This is a hell of a tweet, man.
Nice.
With the King Koop, with the Mario Kart
Yeah,
King Koopa
yes.
gif at the bottom, like that's the chef's kiss. That is why we have social media, sir.
Exactly. It's why we do this every week. It's not just to torture you two.
I don't think I believe you anymore, but it was well worth it to get one good tweet every now and then. Except for Tim's tweets. Tim's tweets are always funny.
Yes. Of course, we talked about Emma Stone flat out denying that she is in the new Spider-Man movie. And Random Randy Savage said, she's coming back in a white skin-tight Spider-Woman outfit. So, of course, he's alluding to Spider-Gwen.
Okay. With that.
Yeah, actually, that's why I kind of brought this one up. Like, do we want Spider-Gwen?
You are
like
biased
Spider-Gwen,
against it. Yeah.
You hate Spider-Gwen more than a person should hate a fictional character.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little irrational at times. But I don't know. Emma Stone's a good actress. Like, they're going to sell some t-shirts with her on it. She's going to do a good job. If they go that way, yeah, sure, why not? Spider-Gwen.
She could probably do it.
Yeah.
I'm
She's getting a little old to be Spider-Gwen, too. So it's time to either pull the trigger on Spider-Gwen or no Spider-Gwen. Because she's like 30, right? you know,
Yeah, she's not a teenager anymore. But you guys disappoint me. So she,
that's what
you
we're
know,
here for.
she still
Yeah.
tries to play a teenager.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't play a teen. She hasn't made like a high school movie in like a decade.
How long has those Amazing Spider-Man movies been?
It's been like a decade.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Dude, we're old.
She was in college in the second one when she died.
You know,
That is true.
you know how the older you get, the faster time seems to go.
Yes. Yes.
Don't remind me.
Spooky. It's terrible.
Hmm.
And then finally, of course, we talked about one of our other favorite rumors that Disney is looking to buy DC out from Warner. And Timothy Jones,
There we go.
he said,
Uh,
if they do, maybe Disney will have a DC park for people to spend even more money. Personally, I think the idea of Disney buying DC is just goofy.
Sour grapes.
Sour grapes available in finer newspapers across the country. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Warrant.
It's like vaudeville. It's like vaudeville. Play them off, Johnny. Yeah.
you always know you're going to get that last word that's going to kill it.
You know, at least he delivers every time.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it's always
absolutely.
like never like one time he's gonna tweet like a normal tweet at us, and I'm gonna be reading this thing over and over again, like it's the
what I missed.
lyrics of a Beatles song, and I'm trying to figure out if Paul McCartney's dead. I'm like, there's a joke in here somewhere. I just can't figure it out.
The Gorilla Brain podcast said DC would become Marvel's whipping boy in crossovers in comics and movies. Marvel is a multi-billion-dollar earner, whilst DC, well, we all know that tragic tale.
Right.
They
But if
made
Marvel
money.
got it, if Disney got it, they'd be another Marvel. Like they could really, you know, put somebody in charge of that and put DC on the map.
So that wasn't the comment, though, right? The idea was that Warner would license the publishing.
You
to
know what?
Marvel.
Well,
Not that they would buy the characters out from underneath them. That got twisted, not by us, but just on Twitter. Like there was never talk like Warner, like I've said this 1,000 times, I'll keep saying it. Warner's not selling Batman. It's not
Right.
happening. Right? Like would
well,
it
they
reminds
still
me of
make money off
wrestling.
of it.
Yeah, for sure. It reminds me of wrestling. When one company buys another, the lesser company always takes the beating. Right. So I get where they're coming from that. But that's not the case here.
I have to issue an apology here. I just realized that we talked about this last week. The only reason I grabbed it because the tweet from Tim was new, but the Gorilla Brain podcast tweet we talked about and the Blind Rat were no, they are not.
I hope my material was not the exact same that I did last week. I'm gonna have to listen to last week's show.
Oh
To
yeah.
be sure, because I don't recall what I said.
All right. Well, that is it for social media madness. However, I remembered this week, guys.
Thank you.
Nerd Madness is back
After a slight hiatus.
after a slight hiatus. Yes. So first off, we got comics. This is the second quarterfinal matchup, which is the last one before the final, I think. Anyway, I think there's one more matchup for each one, and then they go head to heads. It was Daredevil versus Sea of Sorrow.
Sorry, Rich. I tried.
Rich, we're sorry. Come back on the show so we can talk about your defeat. I apologize. So yes, Daredevil takes it 71.4% to 28.6%.
Rich has a story coming out in the new Superman anthology, the Superman Red and Blue.
Yeah, see, Rich, we know you're okay. You're working for DC, so
I got to read it ahead of time, and it's I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that or not, but I got to maybe I got to read it ahead of time. It's really good, man. It's really good. He gets Superman.
So we had some comments on this tweet. The Gorilla Brain podcast said, "Hey, Dave remembered."
Yeah, yes.
Thanks, Ray. Oh my God, this is another language. The name of the Twitter handle.
Just dude says,
Says both are great books, but how do you put up an ongoing 30+ story to a limited run? Anyway, CSRs, baby.
the answer is like we did. We just put one against the other. Which did you prefer? And we're not going. I mean, like the idea was to do it for this year. That's
Right.
how.
Right. It was a specific run on Daredevil.
Mr. I didn't listen to the show 3 months ago when we were doing this.
Yes, but there's probably a fan or a friend of Rich's because he's
Possibly.
tagged in the tweet. So
Because he's tagged in our tweet.
yes, Rich's. Yeah.
Yes.
Rich said, This hardly seems fair, lol. To which Don replied, I wouldn't worry about it. All this is determining is which one gets closer to being fed the fed the Mandalorian and fed to the Mandalorian in the finals.
That's accurate.
It's all in good fun. I love Chip's Daredevil. Yeah, Chip Sarkowski's Daredevil run. That's what we're comparing it to. All right, anime. John,
I am not. Yeah, go on.
we had Demon Slayer versus Jujutsu
Kaisen, right?
Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah,
Kaisen.
I tried.
It was a close one, John. And of course, the anime don't get as many votes. I'm sorry.
that's okay. You know,
Apparently, we don't have a big anime crossover with our fan base, but
Nah.
no, which is interesting. You know, because they are superheroes in those things.
no, you're not wrong.
Demon Slayer wins 52 to 48%.
Mhm. Not surprised. You know, Jujutsu Kaisen is an up and comer. Like it's new. It's new, and a lot of people really like it. But Demon Slayer just has this thing going with and between like the unlimited budget animation that they were able to do in the season 1 and the movie that just came out that is still creeping up to almost take the number one animated movie of all time, and the storyline, which is like just killing it. So
Catalan Twitter trolls said, I go for Jujutsu because they have better comedy writing,
yes,
character construction, and dialogues specifically. About the technical part, KNY is a better use of color palette, more fleshy and impactful versus JK just best OST.
What does that mean, John?
JK Best, I think that's the animation type. I mean, and JK Best is an animation studio, I think. I have to look at
Content.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Best OST. Oh, okay. No, Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know what OST.
I don't know what they mean by OST.
I don't know what does that mean?
Right. Jujutsu's combat's better rhythm choreography. So
can I be honest? For a guy who calls himself a Twitter troll, that is one of the least trollish tweets that's ever been tweeted at us.
It's actually very
well
constructive and thought out. Like
he presented an argument and like defended his points, and it's like, all right.
The music in the show. You think
okay.
I know
the OST is the music on the show?
I see they're saying Jujutsu Kaisen has the best OST, but that is I mean, have you seen episode 19 of Demon Slayer in season 1? Christ, there's no comparison.
So one person gives us a well thought out
original soundtrack. God, I'm a nerd. How did I not know that?
Gives us a well thought out argument, puts down his reasoning why Jujutsu wins, and Ray from the Gorilla Brain podcast said, "Demon Slayer all day."
Yeah. Catalan is right though in one thing. Jujutsu's combat, the combat series, whatever. The combat show part of the show is much better done. The choreography is way better, and they usually use Sakuga when they do that, which is when they flip to the good animation. So. Okay. Yeah, that's when you see like it looks like regular animation, and suddenly it looks like they're doing like 30 frames per second, and you know, and like really going in with the color and everything. So yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen has better choreography in the battles. But okay, there you go.
So moving on to TV, here's another one that shocks me personally.
Oh,
we had, of course, Picard versus Stargirl. And Picard wins at 57.1%.
Whoop that little girl's ass.
I kind of think that she would whip his ass, but you know.
I know, that's just what the voting. John, I'm only reading results.
So
that makes it your fault.
It shocks me because like you have to have Paramount Plus to watch Picard, where Stargirl was on regular TV, and I know a lot of people who did not like Picard, that were Star Trek fans. So, yeah, it just shocked me. I don't know. I guess none of you have seen Picard. So
no, I don't have Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
when the Frasier reboot comes, I'll have Paramount Plus for a little while.
I'm already on like 8 or 9 streaming services. I'm already paying way more than I should.
Geek to Me Radio said, as much as I love the characters that Star Trek The Next Generation gave us, Picard doesn't, in my honest opinion, honor the legacy of those same characters. On the other hand, Stargirl brilliantly showcases the new JSA while paying pitch perfect homage to the original characters. Exactly. Thank you guys. It's exactly how I feel about this. That's why I'm shocked Picard won.
Jujutsu Kaisen still has the better battle scenes though.
Tangent Bound Network replied with, is that season 2 or the season 1 that you are catching up to on? Season 1. Okay, so they're just talking about the mistake. And a great season, good story development, and loving the casting. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, it was season 1 of both those shows anyway, because that's what came out last year. Yeah, I don't get it, but you know, it is what it is. We don't control these things, people. We just put it out there, and you vote. So finally, we had the last movie matchup. Another one that shocks me a little bit, but I kind of put it out a little late, so I didn't get as many votes. So I apologize for that. We had Onward. We had 2 Pixar movies going head to head here, guys. Onward versus Soul.
Shocked by this one. Shocked.
Oh, you already looked at the results?
I did.
Did you, John?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
No, I just looked it up as you were saying it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, do you have a guess? Yeah, Soul takes it at a whopping 68.2% to 31.6%.
Shocked.
I wonder if it's because of the soundtrack, though. Like
Soundtrack
John Batiste, who he's the band leader for Stephen Colbert, The Late Show. He's the one who did Soul, and I think he won an award for it. Actually,
it was good. The Soul did have a much better soundtrack, but I thought Onward was the better film, better story.
I think so too. Yeah.
The recast of the podcast, again, the comments echoing feelings of me. I chose Onward because as much as I like Soul, I think it's a little bit more of a downer. Exactly.
Well, the guy died.
Yeah, I mean,
spoilers.
Not permanently spoilers, because that's how death works in Pixar cartoons.
Right.
But yeah, no,
he died.
I know. I was just shocked. Onward's I guess Onward's more of a boy movie, a nerd boy movie, and Soul's maybe more of a wider appeal.
Yeah.
Maybe. I liked Onward so much. So I don't know.
Well,
I did too.
That, my friends, leaves us with the final matchups for all of the categories coming up this week. So, what does that mean? Who is Soul taking on? Soul will be taking on One Night in Miami. Guys,
it's better than One Night in Bangkok.
I was thinking the same thing. I was
to
trying to figure out how to make a hard man humble and make that joke work, and I couldn't. I couldn't stick the landing.
I'm just shocked. Neither one is a nerd movie for Superior Speak audience.
Nothing came out last year.
Everything
was kind of held back.
I was thinking of the song, but
One Night in Bangkok makes a hard
for TV
man.
we have
DCMA strike. Damn it.
For TV we have Picard going up against The Mandalorian.
A scythe.
Star Trek against Star Wars.
Oh, geez.
Like a scythe.
And then we're gonna have to hype it up that way, guys.
We're gonna get like 3,000 votes for that, bro.
For comics, we have Daredevil going up against Immortal Hulk.
I bet Immortal Hulk takes it because that book seems very popular, and I feel like I've missed out on something by not reading it because the praise for it has been near universal.
And then finally on anime, we have Attack on Titan, of course, going up against Demon Slayer.
That's going to be interesting to see.
Attack on Titan has a huge following. Huge.
Right.
Huge.
Some might say Titanic.
You didn't get my reference. Okay.
No, I didn't.
I'm trying to think of another. It's Bigly.
Oh. No,
Huge.
no, we don't
Bigly.
refer to that personage. But yeah, no, that both the followings are that's gonna be an interesting fight.
I think
wanna
so. So, if you're excited for these matchups, and you're watching us on YouTube, or you're listening to this on your favorite podcasts, and you're wondering, how can I vote in these finals to figure out who's the best nerd thing of 2020?
Send us $20 to care.
Here's our good friend D Square to tell you more about how you can follow us on social media and be part of Social Media Madness.
Want to be part of Social Media Madness? Make sure you're following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the social media links for the show at the top of the page. While you're there, check out previous episodes of the podcast as well as other great content. And check the site often because we are posting great comic book reviews as well as other comic book and movie content every day. Make sure you are following us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Simply follow them at *_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pup Prism Power Podcast, Colt 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for GW All-Stars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak. Want to be part of Social Media Madness?
I don't know, John. Do you think anyone's going to send us $20?
No.
No. I mean, none of us has a face you can trust. I mean,
I'm very trustworthy.
No,
God,
JD is
can't
the
grow
only
a
trustworthy
mustache.
one here. Yeah. JD's mustache and beard are particularly trustworthy.
You can't twirl it. It's untwirlable. See?
Yeah, so is mine.
Yes.
Well, on that note, boys and girls, we'll take our thanks, Don. For
Hey,
that.
Don. Thanks.
And don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast, available on YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. Whew, Don, I almost forgot to plug you. On that note, we'll take our first commercial break, and we'll be right back.
If you're looking for adventure this summer, escape with Marvel Comics. Fight crime with Spider-Man, meet the Fantastic Four, and watch Captain America in action. May the Force be with you as you battle the evil empire in Star Wars. Discover the secrets of the South American jungle in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And with Marvel Comics, you're never alone because they can go with you in the car or to the park, even on a rainy day. Marvel Comics are your ticket to fun and adventure this summer.
You dying,
All
now,
right.
man? Sounds like you're dying.
Might be our only commercial break because I only have news and we don't have a main topic this week. But we got some news to talk about. The first one, of course, we're all excited that they are making a Into the Spider-Verse sequel.
Oh, hell yeah.
Some are more excited than other. And we got our Jessica Drew, a.k.a. Spider-Woman, cast, and it's Issa Rae. So,
Good.
Yeah, fan. About time they do some Spider-Woman stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how they managed not to use her all these years.
that is actually something that I've pondered too, right? Like,
Isn't it because her power set is a little bit different than the rest of the Spider people?
She's not quite related to Peter. You know, they really try to do something different with her, and they never quite had. They never quite stuck the landing with the Jessica Drew Spider-Woman until Bendis came along. So
She had an animated series though, right?
she did, but that was more but that's also like right around the time they debuted her. So it was more like they were really pushing her.
Oh,
And
okay.
Right. Excuse me.
I honestly think part of the problem is that her origin is tied in with Shield, and those kinds of things. And I'm wondering if, like, because of that, they couldn't do a true origin story to the comics. So because Sony is Spider-Man and the Avengers are Marvel, I don't know.
Could be.
It's just
Could be. And her origin's kind of confusing too, because originally she was a spider that was mutated into a person, and they had to go back and fix that. And there's a lot of with the Jessica Drew character, but they've righted the ship recently, so cool.
Yeah, and I mean it's also in a Spider-Verse movie, you don't really need to probably worry about the origin as much. Like the other characters kind of just popped up. So
Well, her and Spider-Ham should get along really well then, because he was a he was a spider who was bitten by a radioactive pig, right? So
He was bitten by a radioactive hot dog, I thought.
yes.
hot dog?
Yes.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, he's cannibal. Unless
So-
hot dogs in his universe are made of people.
Ah,
So
Soylent
Much like
Green.
Soylent Green,
Here's
damn
the
it!
Soylent Green.
We're on the same path today, and you keep beating me to it.
that's because John. That's because John runs every day. So
I don't run anymore. I can't.
Oh, that's right. You're old.
No, my leg doesn't work anymore.
So we're getting
Does it
Jessica
go the other
Drew
way when
Spider
you try to
Woman,
walk? Does it go like all the way back? Sorry.
and from my understanding, there was a hint. Right? No, there was a hint of Spider-Man 2099. Right? Wasn't he?
There was. He was in Miguel O'Hara shows up in the post-credit sequence.
That's right. The post-credit scene. So we're getting 2099, a Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. Any other Spider characters that you guys would want to see?
Kane. Kane's awesome.
But
Kane
how do you do Kane without doing the Clone Saga?
You don't. I don't know. I just threw it out there. Well, you just do. He's a clone. Do it. I mean, like, have the Spider-Verse, but also have the clones.
Yeah.
You could do it. Dan Slott managed to fit every. He's throwing them all
Well,
and
Then
stuff.
if you're gonna do that, then you got to get Ben Reilly, Scarlet
See,
Spider.
I think the problem is that I think Kane is a far superior character, and I'll argue this to the death. Kane is a far superior character to Ben Reilly.
I know, but I like Ben's costume.
Ben does have a good costume. I can't argue that.
And for a movie, it's a good visual.
Yeah,
thing
no,
to
I'm
have.
with you. I agree 100% with that. Ben has a great costume. Especially if you go with the old school Kane, where he had the twisted face.
Yeah.
Like he's like the dark. I just love the Kane character trajectory. Like they're so cool. I love Kane. Kane Parker, as they eventually took to calling him, but he's a
Yes.
good character.
John, to John, we're going wah 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 wah.
Yeah.
I am
Marvel
just
talk.
listening so I learn.
What other good Spider characters are there? Because there's tons. They've definitely.
I mean, there's Silk.
Julia Carpenter, Madam Web. Who I'm
Oh,
surprised
well,
we
of
haven't.
course.
Yeah,
God,
why,
yes.
why haven't we? Well,
That's a
you
great
would
question.
You think she's going to appear in the second one because they teased the whole Spider-Verse thing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, so
I'm
they,
shocked, and I'm shocked they didn't use Madam Web. Oh, not Morbius, Morlun,
who's that?
Spider Eater, the character created by JMS. I like that character.
Who that?
He goes across space and time and dimensions, killing the spider avatars.
I mean, I guess if you make him the villain,
That's what I
That
would do.
would
Yeah,
work,
I'd make.
yeah.
That's what I would do. I'd make definitely not a character. Like you would make him the antagonist of the film.
yeah, but then you're going to kill off a couple of these characters.
Yeah, I mean you got a lot of them. We can kill some people off.
Wait, you bring in the clones and kill them off. That way.
Well, you
you're
got
safe.
Spider-Man Noir right there. Like
Ooh, don't kill him. You don't.
He's
You don't,
fun.
you don't take out Nicolas Cage. You need
Nicolas
that
Cage
energy.
would love that.
He's cannon fodder.
Probably yes.
He's absolutely cannon fodder.
So okay, but wait.
The Asian
Here's-
Spider Girl character.
Here's the problem.
Bye.
Here's the
Ooh.
problem with Moreland.
Go on.
Then there's a possibility of getting the other story.
No, they're never going to do the other. Marvel has collectively admitted that the other was a giant mistake. Both times they did it. So I mean, like, the other. They pretend the other never happened, which is the way to handle the other.
Wait, they said it was a mistake and then they did it
Oh,
again.
yeah. No, they
No,
didn't.
no.
They did in like 3 months' time. Like Peter, for some reason, I don't know how this slipped past Marvel editorial. Paul Jenkins has like the Queen of Spiders basically kill Spider-Man. And he like wraps up in a cocoon and he's reborn. And then they did the exact same story with JMS and the other, which was Moreland. And then wakes up from a cocoon. I mean, it's literally the same exact thing, like 6 months apart from each other.
And you
It's
know how
nuts.
how
Neither one of them
spiders
did.
wrap themselves up in cocoons and come back. Oh wait, that's caterpillars and butterflies.
It is, but and then they got they had to do organic web shooters because Sam Raimi had those.
That was the whole thing. It was to
Yeah.
bring organic web shooters into the comics, but then they gave them stingers. What the hell was that all about?
Out of his ass.
No,
No,
it came out
that
of
would
his
have been
wrist.
funny.
Just like the webs came out of his wrist, it still doesn't make sense if you really think about where webs are supposed to come from.
I mean, like it made. I mean, like they were trying, but that's not a very like the end of the J. Michael Straczynski era of Spider-Man is really bad. Like it starts off pretty good. Like there's some really good stuff. The first Moreland story is really good. The Ezekiel stuff is good. Like there's a great Peter and Mary Jane get back together story.
Mhm.
And then it starts to really lose steam.
Is
And
this
then it
because of
gets stupid.
Straczynski, or are you talking after Straczynski?
No, it's pretty much the end of Straczynski's run. And I think a lot of it too is editorial.
Yeah.
And like it seemed like JMS was really more interested in doing his own thing rather than like fitting into the greater Marvel universe. Because that's when Peter joins the Avengers and he moves into Avengers Tower. And they give him like now we look back on the Iron Spider's suit and it's like that's awesome. But at the time in the comics, it really didn't work.
No.
That's why they did the brand new day thing, is they're really trying to get Peter back to basics because he really gotten too far from what Peter Parker was supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing too. It was like at the time, it was like, yeah, I didn't like the costume because it was like he's becoming too dependent on Tony, right?
Mhm.
Like they did this whole thing where he's gets married, gets his own life, becomes a science teacher, and all this stuff, and now all of a sudden he's dependent on Tony, and it was like,
Yeah.
like, which in contrast, it works in the MCU because he's a young hero starting out and needs help.
They took elements from the comics, but they handled it much better.
Yes.
Like I think part of it too is like being with the comics basically being IP farms is you can see kind of what works and what doesn't.
Exactly.
Right. So a lot of time the attitude in the late 2000s was, throw the baby with the bathwater because everyone's like, all this is bad. But the Iron Spider suit could have worked as we've seen in the movies with a different design. It does work. Like Peter and Tony are in the Marvel Comics universe are more contemporaries. Like Tony's like 40, Peter's like 25,
Right.
So there's like, that's not contemporaries, but I mean, it's like, it's different. Whereas in the movies, Peter could be, Tony could be Peter's dad,
right.
like,
and it feels like a father-son relationship
it
in
does.
the movies.
It's
in
different.
the comics, it feels like, why is he doing this? He's an adult.
Yeah. It just didn't, and but he's also an adult who has like, at that point, 40 years of comics under his belt. So I mean, like 45 years at that point. So it just didn't work. But it actually provided pretty good fodder for what they could do with the films later on.
Yes.
Like that's an interesting era of Spider-Man to look back on because there's some interesting experiments. Oh, JMS also had Gwen Stacy get pregnant by Norman Osborn.
Jesus criminy.
Yeah, and then she had two twins who became rapidly aging because they had goblin blood. It is a really bad story.
It is.
Oh, that's
It's possibly it's like top 10 worst Spider-Man stories ever.
It's possibly number 2 after One More Day for most hated Spider-Man storyline.
That sounds very uncomfortably close to baby hands.
It's really bad. I mean, there's some really bad Spider-Man stories. The John Byrne origin, the Howard Mackie run in the late 90s, early 2000s. That stuff was trash. Like there's some bad Spider-Man. This is pretty bad. It's
because the whole thing is, it's like Gwen Stacy was, and it's also one of the reasons I don't like Spider-Gwen. Gwen Stacy was one of the characters that affected Peter's journey to who he was.
Yes.
Her death affected him, their love, and all that stuff. So, like, to then defile her.
She's
defile her. That's it. Defile her and like make her nothing. She had kids with Norman Osborn. It was like, are you serious?
It's
like,
so out of left field too.
Yeah.
And Mike Deodato is a phenomenal artist, and he does a lot of photo references. So he has Norman Osborn's O face, and he uses Tommy Lee Jones as his photo.
Oh my god!
So you're seeing Tommy Lee Jones with the Norman Osborn hair, banging the shit out of Gwen Stacy, and it is one of the most off-putting comic book panels ever created.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
And not in a good way where you're supposed to be bothered by it, but it's you're bothered to the point of like, this is freaking dumb, which again is why when One More Day happens, like it wasn't just getting rid of the marriage, it was getting rid of a lot of the bad crap they had done with Spider-Man for 30 years, because even the stuff leading up to JMS is bad. Like the Howard Mackie stuff is god awful. Paul Jenkins does some good stuff, but when Howard Mackie was in control of Spider-Man, you're talking like the worst era. Like that's the worst era of Spider-Man. Like there's nothing like as tremendously bad as since past, but like there's just a lot of shit. It's just bad. It's just not good. It's so I can't even go back and remember it because it's unmemorable bad stuff. I love Spider-Man.
You have to forget it to keep your sanity.
You really do. Like, again, I know people got on the Dan Slott stuff when he first started writing Spider-Man, but those were much better stories than the stuff that had come out for like a good decade leading out of it.
Yeah. So
Spider hero speak.
yes. Well, I could talk about Spider-Man all day. So let's move on to other casting news, because this was about Jessica Drew being cast, not J. Michael ruining Spider-Man. Black Panther 2, guys.
I love everything about this.
Tenoch Huerta.
I'm not familiar with our man.
I
don't know who he is.
Don't know who he is. Has been cast as Namor and will be in Wakanda forever.
Now, just to point out, Namor is not just an Atlantean. He's an Atlantean
Human.
No, mutant.
They tack that on later.
Yeah,
Like,
Mutant was added later.
Yeah, that was a sales tactic in the 80s because the X-Men were selling well. But technically he is a mutant because he's half human, half Atlantean. So you can actively say he is a mutant. So sure.
Well, that's how they explain the wings on his, right? Because that was his mutation.
Yeah. Realistically they just want him to look like Hermes, but it's what I mean, that's whatever. I doubt the ankle wings will make an appearance.
Yeah, I know. I can't see how that would work on the big screen.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. I hope the design I hope they do the, as opposed to the Speedo design, I hope they go with some variation of the Namor black vest design because I think that looks cooler. Always thought that.
I don't know if you can get away with the Speedo. Anyway, like it's
You
just
could try.
I mean, I guess if you're talking about a character who lives underwater, it makes sense.
It does. Like the design of Namor, you're right, it makes more sense than Aquaman, but it doesn't look, especially for like the king of Atlantis, it doesn't look good. Like the Namor, the black vest Namor is way cooler looking. And as long as he's an absolute insufferable dick, I'm perfectly fine with all of this. I love this actually.
They could do a costume like the Deep has in, what is it?
Isn't that previously Aquaman's costume though?
It's a takeoff on it, but
the traditional Aquaman costume.
Yeah.
Oh, our man was in Narcos. I haven't seen. People love that show. I've never seen it though.
So Tenoch Huerta, I'm saying his name right. He is a Mexican actor.
Yes.
And I'm looking at his filmography here, and so he was in Detroit, that 2007 movie Detroit, and I can't see like most of this. There are Mexican movies.
Cool. They went outside the box. I like when they do that.
Exactly. So it's not someone we're going to know.
Their casting is. I mean, whoever's been doing their casting has been on point for over 10 years now. So
absolutely, they found Chris Hemsworth. We basically Tom Hiddleston wasn't anything special, but like as far as like a name before they found him for Loki. Like they've done a great job. Like Peter Quill. What was his name? The guy who played Star-Lord? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Peter Quill?
Yeah, the guy who played Star-Lord. What's his name?
Oh, God.
Chris Pine.
Pratt.
No,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
He was a chubby dude from a sitcom. So I mean, like they've done a great job finding the right people for this. This actually, the only thing that disappoints me, the only thing that really disappoints me about this is that Chadwick Boseman's gone, and we're not going to get that awesome Namor T'Challa interaction that is such a hallmark of the comics. That's a shame.
I don't know. That's why and I get why they're trying to. It feels like they're trying to do something to build the hype around. I think they're afraid people aren't going to go to this because Boseman isn't in it.
I agree.
So they're building the hype around it, which I get.
They have to.
But doesn't it make more sense to introduce Namor in a Fantastic Four movie?
No, I don't think so. Because I think Namor is a character. I actually think because Namor, I think that the Fantastic Four movie has to be Doom. Has to be. And there's so much associated with the Fantastic Four. I think Namor is a character that can stand on his own. And with the Fantastic Four, he's such a villain. Whereas with this stuff, I think he could play more of an anti-hero.
Is he really a villain?
And that in those Fantastic Four stories, absolutely.
In the original stories, when they find him, and then he has a crush on Sue.
And he has a crush on Sue. But I mean, what have they done since then? Like they brought Namor back with Fantastic Four. But I mean, like, and this is in the 60s. Like in the late 60s, he really spawns off and does his own thing.
Yeah.
So I think backdooring him with Namor, which has been, or the T'Challa, excuse me, which has been a hallmark of the last 20 years of comics, is a better move. And it saves the Fantastic Four for Doom. because that's what we really want. We want the Fantastic Four and Doom. I
The
don't want them to
real
hold
Doom,
back.
not
the real Doom. I don't want any more holding back. Like, we might get one chance at a good Fantastic Four movie. There is no planning for the future. You have to stick this land.
I want a trashy Eastern European accent.
I want Mads Mikkelsen playing Doctor Doom. That's what I want.
Mads
Mads
Mikkelsen.
The guy who played Hannibal.
Oh,
Oh, he was Caiaphas. Damn it. He
Yeah,
would have been great for Doom. I
Yeah.
forgot that he played Caiaphas. But yeah, I want that kind of guy. I want an Eastern European who come with. I just want someone that feels with the
Menacing.
presence, menacing with that bravado, and who can like really project it underneath
should-
a giant metal mask. I want I want a Doom.
he should feel like Darth Vader walking on the screen.
Well, they basically lifted Darth Vader's look from Doom, so yes, that's exactly what it should be.
Right, exactly. That's what I was saying that for. That's where
Yeah.
it came from. So yeah, that is my dream. You drop your ball.
I dropped my ball. My
You
stress
didn't,
ball.
you didn't keep your eye on the ball.
I got one eye. Cut me some slack.
Why do you have one eye?
I'm blind in one eye.
We
guys
talked
are-
about this before, haven't
Yeah,
we?
we've talked about it.
Yes, my daughter's blind in one eye. We
Mhm.
talked about this. Okay.
well, okay then.
So yeah, so this will be good. I don't know who. I guess they'll have Siri go off against him.
Yeah, it doesn't excite me as much, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Well, they could really make Siri's character by putting her up against him.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct.
If you're good, if she's gonna make her mark,
If she needs an episode, if she needs a movie to prove herself as a Black Panther, then that is definitely the way.
then
to do
that he's the guy to do it against. Yeah.
it. Right. Yeah. Give her a real hero's journey and having to go against Namor. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like that.
All right, guys, we have some comic book news, and we don't normally talk about this kind of stuff on the show. I mean, we talk about comic books, but I found this interesting, and we all know that we're all fans. We all know it's all gimmicks at this point, but they're going to kill Doctor Strange in the comics. They have an upcoming story called The Death of Doctor Strange, and it's going to explore the world post Doctor Strange and the kinds of threats that come into the world because he's no longer here.
That's okay. Wong will take him.
So obviously, let's put this out right away. We all know death isn't permanent in comics. He'll be back, right? Like, who
Obviously.
haven't they killed in comics that they didn't bring back?
Especially a major character like him.
I think
Uncle Ben,
Uncle Ben is the only character who's stayed dead in comics.
Captain Marvel, the
Uncle
original.
Ben, like Vibe, his whole entire character was to be dead. I mean, that's it.
Who
But
else
here's
was
what I
there?
find. Here's what I find interesting about the timing of this. Like, Marvel has had a reputation, whether it's true or not, to want to not screw around with the characters in the books too much when movies are coming out to promote, or to screw around with the characters when they don't want the movies to do well. Like, they killed Wolverine off to try to hurt the Wolverine movies. Like, that
is a
the rumor.
conspiracy theory that is unproven but probably accurate.
Well, I mean, I have friends that work for Marvel, so
Yeah, I believe you. I completely believe that.
it's one of those like unspoken things they all know is true. That's remember they killed
The Fantastic Four.
they killed Johnny Storm and broke up the Fantastic Four.
They de-emphasized the X-Men in favor of the Inhumans. That went well, guys. Great job, Mike.
Yeah. So, but now we have a Doctor Strange movie coming out that they're making. Because that's the other thing. Like, they teamed up the original members of the Guardians and did books with them to prop up the movie, get Star-Lord back in prominence. So now we have Doctor Strange 2 coming out, and they're going to kill him in the comics. Like,
Well, here's the thing: is the difference is the Doctor Strange ongoing is very hard to keep going. Right?
Yes.
There's never been a continuous run on Doctor Strange because he's a hard character. He's a character that works much better in film than he does in continuing comics.
this is
Right.
true.
So they have to do something to get interest around Doctor Strange. Killing him is what they do because I think Marvel can be a little creatively, I'll say it, they can be a little creatively bankrupt. Like, this is what they do. CB gets everyone together at the retreat. They all go, okay, who are we gonna kill now? and it's morally it's morally bankrupt. It's creatively vapid, and I hate it.
Are you telling me the company where every one of the MCU movies, the bad guy has been just somebody with the same powers as the good guy is creatively bankrupt?
Let's take the movies, because the movies do a better job than the comics lately.
True.
And put
Very
them over
true.
here. Let's put the movies over here because they deliver better. The comics have not done a great job building stories in a long time. I don't think Marvel Comics has been great since Joe Quesada stepped down.
Wow.
To be quite honest with you, that's been a while now.
Okay, hold on. Has every Marvel movie been the villain is just a mirror of the hero? I know most of them.
Most of them. Not all of them. Like the Guardians, no, not really.
Well, Thor: Dark World, but it's still
Thor: Dark World. That's a sequel. Sequels are different. Iron Man, yes. Hulk, yes. Captain America, kinda.
Yeah, kinda. I mean,
what else came out? Avengers, not really. Ant-Man, yes.
very much so.
Avengers: Age of Ultron was like, okay, so we have Ultron, and now we have to have our own.
Well, I don't think you can really count the Avengers.
The team movies are different because like it's a team against like one threat, so those by nature are slightly different.
Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, most of them have lifted the Iron Man motif, and that's
Captain Marvel.
But like you said, they've done a much better job.
Yeah. They've done a much better job because they can lean into actors and character, which is, it's easier to do in a 2-hour chunk than it is to do in a 30-issue stretch, let alone multiple stretches that run back to back to back to back to back.
I mean, Black Panther,
yes. Killmonger is absolutely, like, it ends with him. Yeah, they all devolve into that. It's a major trope in the movies that is there, but it doesn't seem to bother the viewers. But I mean, they've gotten away from it a little bit. They got away, like Captain America was literally the battle, like Winter Soldier, was literally the battle of who would be the next Captain America. So that's acceptable there. WandaVision was completely different. Although I guess you could say it's two witches.
No, they had,
I guess you could say that, but that wasn't like the over arc. I mean, yes and no. Like I won't fight you on it if you do say it, but I think it's a little different.
Oh, I'll fight you.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what they do. Like, oh, we got to generate interest. Let's kill somebody and then bring them back in 4 years. I mean, like here's my big problem is again, I'm old. So like a decade ago, they did this where you had to find the next Sorcerer Supreme, and they brought in Dr. Voodoo. They brought Brother Voodoo back, renamed him Dr. Voodoo. He became the Sorcerer Supreme, and then that lasted like 6 issues, and then Doctor Strange was back as Sorcerer Supreme. So I mean, like, this is just, I don't know, man. I feel again this when you know the tricks, it gets old quick, and I'm so very big on Marvel Comics.
Huh.
Yeah.
I have been for quite some time. I think this is stupid. It could be a really good story, but it doesn't do much for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm tired of we need to sell books. Let's kill somebody off.
Yeah, it's boring, man. It's boring.
Just, create new characters then. Create an actual new character to replace Doctor Strange.
Well, that's the thing. That might actually happen. But the problem is when you have these characters that have been around for 50 years, it's like nobody wants to see them replaced. They try creating characters, and more often than not, they fall. They've had better luck creating characters in the last 10 years than they had in probably the 20 leading up to it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
So, I don't know. I'm very bullish or bearish. I forget the bearish. I'm very bearish. Thank you. Clearly, I know nothing of the stock market. I'm very bearish on the prospects of this storyline. I think it's vapid and stupid. And they're going to say, no, we have great ideas. And it's like, sure, I bet you do. And then Doctor Strange is going to be the Sorcerer Supreme again because that's the property.
Yes. No, I agree. All right, let's move on. Let's go across the aisle to DC. Because we're all excited for the Flashpoint movie, right, guys?
I am now.
Abort.
No way, man. Now I'm super excited.
Well, I mean, yeah, if they're bringing in Batman from, Keaton.
So, yes. So, obviously, we all know that Michael Keaton is in the movie. Was he playing Batman? Is he just Bruce Wayne? We weren't sure. We got a glimpse, a hint of the Batman suit that Michael Keaton will wear in the Flashpoint movie.
And obviously, Alfred isn't around anymore because it's got blood all over it, and he hasn't cleaned it.
I thought it was jelly.
No, okay, sure, right, yeah.
Well, it's not running. Like it's like
Batman
it
eating jelly
coagulated.
donuts?
It coagulated quite nicely on his symbol,
Unless he's lying down.
or unless he's lying down, because blood streaks and
Or
blood
this
runs.
showing the splatter. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like
So-
grape jelly.
So yeah, so of course this was shared over on the Instagrams, and it looks like the original symbol from the '89.
Actually,
movie.
it doesn't. It actually looks like the symbol in the '92 movie, because in the '89 movie it's got the
you're
little
right.
box at the bottom. But the point is still driven home.
It's supposed to be a continuation of just Keaton's Batman, like
Yeah.
the second movie with him in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
I'm
and-
excited.
As JD pointed out, that you can't see even on our YouTube. There's blood splattered on the symbol as well. So
Well, you
obvi-
said it's jelly. Isn't there a Condiment Man? Wasn't there like a rogue? Whose Rogues Gallery has Condiment Man in it?
I think it's from the "They Might Be Giants" song.
No. There is a Condiment Man or
Man.
something.
all right,
Particle
you look up
Man.
Condiment Man while we bloody grown-ups talk, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about comics here, man. Serious talk.
But yes, so I mean that they're trying to say something, I think, with the blood though. Like
Yes,
it's not
this
just
will-
here's the
this-
symbol.
Condiment
will be-
King. He is a bat. He's in the Batman's Rogues Gallery. Condiment Man. Condiment
So
King.
maybe it is ketchup or jelly. Maybe he's gotten so old he can only fight Condiment Man.
So,
kind of
did you
a
guys actually read Flashpoint when it happened?
I've seen the movie. I haven't actually read the book.
John, did you see or read either? Or...
I didn't read the. I actually didn't read it. Although I know I've
So I mean,
I keep up with the Rob Squad or whatever. So like
now
I've seen the whole thing explained.
one of
So
the
I know
main-
the differences.
one of the main things is in Flashpoint. One of the things that changes is Bruce is the one that's killed.
Yes. So
And
they're clearly not. That's too bad, because that's actually the best point about Flashpoint was the Batman stuff. Like Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Rizzo did Batman, and Thomas Wayne is Batman, and Martha Wayne is the Joker.
Right.
And it's really good. It's the highlight of that whole thing. The actual Flashpoint miniseries I didn't think it was that good, to be honest with you. Like, it's a lot of, Aquaman is evil, Wonder Woman is evil, like everybody is evil. We get a lot of that, and it's, again, it's a wonderful life with superheroes, basically. I hope they don't.
Superman was captured and
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah, and he's like skinny because they've been
Keeping him with
him away from
kryptonite.
the sunlight. Yeah, he's with kryptonite. He's all sunlight and away from kryptonite and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't mind them taking inspiration, because it seems like they're in Flashpoint more with the multiverse than just time.
right.
I hope they don't get too much inspiration from Flashpoint.
I think also the best part of Flashpoint is the end.
Yeah, it's good when you get the letter from Bruce.
Yes,
From Bruce.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a
so-
great moment. Absolutely.
What's not Martha Wayne?
Thomas.
Thomas Wayne
Yeah.
writes a letter to send to Bruce, and Flash delivers it, and
Yeah, it's-
Batman actually tears up.
Yeah, it's a great moment. It relaunches the New 52, which after that, it's the cure is worse than the disease. But I mean,
Right.
I hope that there's. It seems more like, I know they're calling it Flashpoint. It seems like they're taking more inspiration from the Crisis.
It's
Yes.
going to be its own thing, basically.
Yeah, which is fine, because Flashpoint's a cool name. Like, it's a good name, especially for a Flash centric movie.
Well, especially since they're using it literally. We've talked about this before. They're using a flashpoint to reset everything after every series now. Like Apocalypse was Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. What did it end with? Another flashpoint. So it basically ended with Constantine looking at Barry Allen and said, "Time to reboot stuff. Go for it." It's like,
Yes, it's now that's now become the trope over at DC.
yeah.
Let's reset.
Well,
That's not
they're
become a
leaning on
trope.
it hard.
But that is part of DC's DNA since
Right.
since 1985 or even
Well,
before
right,
that.
because-
Armageddon
the-
or something, right?
because-
No. Let's be real. That goes back to the Flash of Two Worlds.
Oh,
Right?
Yes.
That goes back to 1959. I think that's when that was. So this has always been a case of this happened. That's kind of always what they do.
No, I agree, and it's because that was the joke for a while was, oh, we need to fix things, let's have a crisis, and now it's, oh, we need to fix things, let's have a flashpoint.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, they did look back on it. So we had the Flash thing, the Flash Two Worlds is the first time that the worlds are splintered and we changed continuity. And then you had, of course, later on you do the Crisis, and then you had 0 Hour, and then you had Armageddon, and then you had Final Crisis, and then Infinite Crisis, then Final Crisis, then Flashpoint. I mean, like, this is what Rebirth. This is what they do. You know,
And then,
like,
wait, 52 and then Rebirth, right?
right. It's hard. I mean, I think I went out of order, but I mean, like, this is just it's hard to keep track of them because this is like they get frustrated with continuity, and rather than just saying, fuck it, they like try to justify everything. Like, at least Marvel goes, like, we talked about Gwen Stacy. They went, what Gwen Stacy story? That never happened. You know, it's sleight of hand. We didn't do that. You're crazy. You know, DC like admits that they make bad stories and tries to fix them. I don't know which way is better. I really don't.
One of my favorite moments in the show The Big Bang Theory, Stuart from the comic book shop and Sheldon, they start having a conversation about DC and how, like, Sheldon's like, I've been online fighting with these guys in the DC chat room about who the successor for, if Bruce Wayne's death proves permanent, who his successor should be, you know, and he says it should be Dick Grayson, and of course Stewart's like, no, it shouldn't be Dick Grayson, it should be, because he became a hero in his own right, Nightwing, it should be Jason Todd, blah blah. So, and then it's like hours later and they're still complaining about continuity with DC, and it's just like, and he's like, yeah, I think you're stuck in a pre 52 error, and he's like, of course I am. So it's just like, yes, that's exactly how it is.
That was actually very in continuity at the time, because that is when Bruce Wayne was dead and they were doing the battle for the cowl, and Dick Grayson became Batman for a year. Fun year of comics, actually.
Yes, it was.
Wasn't there a Zazriel or whatever too?
That was in 1994.
That was
he got his back broken.
Yeah, when he got his back broken.
Yeah, which they recreated in The Dark Knight Rises, a movie that should have been a lot better than it was.
Yeah.
Well, because they tried to throw too much into that.
They really did. They really did.
And they had the teleporting Batman, so
there is this, like,
they also did.
It's this weird thing where if you have Bane in a movie, he's got to break Batman's back. No,
I'd be fine with it. I would be. I don't hate that idea. I don't mind Batman getting the back broken, because I think you could do a nice redemption story with Batman. I think that's fine.
Once you get over the fact that he's still technically human and had his back broken, and like,
well, I mean, even in the comics, they like, it's still a recovery. Like, I mean, like, it took a year. I mean, it's fine to me if you do that. If you do the long, arduous recovery story, like, I watch Rocky movies. Like, it's the same thing.
True,
right?
True.
Like, that's fine to me, because again, I'm watching a superhero film. I can suspend my disbelief.
Right.
Like, Batman in itself is a giant suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, true.
Like, that doesn't bother me.
That he'd make it more than a month without like tearing every muscle he's got.
That and a billionaire is going to actually do something, like, that worry about something other than making money. Like, I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous, but that's fiction. So, I mean, like, I can accept all of this. But the movie itself just, like, it sets up a lot of stuff, but really doesn't, like, make it stick. Like, they kind of combine the Nightfall arc with the No Man's Land arc, and it really...
Yeah.
It doesn't quite commit one way or the other to it. And like, the Talia al Ghul was like, when they cast her, everyone, oh, she's going to be Talia, right? And they're like, no, she's not going to be Talia. This was the original Khan, you know? No, of course not. Yeah, she's Talia. You guys figured it out.
Yeah.
How did you know?
The end, I did not care for.
That's like Cumberbatch. He's
the original Khan is in
Cumberbatch.
Khan.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Khan.
No, Khan. It works on both levels. It works on both levels. Yeah, the Khan.
Yes.
Episode title.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. This is, I don't know. The third Batman movie is not as good as Dark Knight.
Yes, but we are still excited to see Flashpoint. Michael Keaton with bloodstains on his bat.
I am. I want to see Michael Keaton give it one more round as Batman.
All right. So this last bit, and by the time people hear this, it's going to be half over. But, like, speaking of cons, I had no idea this was going on until this came across my desk, and I don't know if you guys. I'm curious if you guys heard this. So Netflix is doing a Geeked week. It's a virtual convention on Netflix, and there's going to be panels and everything and whatnot. And of course, you know, it includes Sandman, The Umbrella Academy, The Witcher, Lucifer, Castlevania, Resident Evil, Cowboy Bebop, Sweet Tooth, and so much more.
Witcher. Wow, it's been a while since I've seen that.
So they're gonna be streaming all this stuff over on Netflix for, this entire June 7th to the 11th. So what do we think, guys? Like, obviously, because of the pandemic, virtual cons kind of became a thing last year. Netflix obviously is trying to jump on that bandwagon.
I'd say get the popcorn. That sounds like a nice weekend.
I agree. Sounds cool to me.
Well,
I've
it's a
heard
week,
good things
not a
about
weekend.
Sweet Tooth, even though it is kind of a really dark storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, the comic was really good. I only read a few issues of it, but it was once I read the trade, the first trade, it's like, this is really good. I never picked up the others. So I'm curious to see the movie or the TV show.
So this kind of makes me wonder, because we talked about this on the show before, right? Like, what happens once pop culture and nerd culture aren't the same anymore, and cons, and what's the future of cons going to be after the pandemic and everything, and can they get it back to just being about comics and comic book movies without throwing in crap we don't care about, like some book they want to promote? Well, they're at the New York Comic Con, so let's put a big banner up that no one wants to even look at. So in that sense, can you throw all that crap on Netflix during a virtual con, and people want to check that out, they could check it out, and then that way they don't have to worry about putting in New York Comic Con. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm okay with this. For right now, we're still in the pandemic, and they can do some cool stuff online, and like, why not? Why not?
Okay.
We were heading this way anyway with like.
But I mean, if this is successful and it gets people to sign up for Netflix and watch it,
oh yeah,
they're gonna keep doing it.
Well,
will that take away from actual cons?
You've just identified a synergy that they can do with some of the streaming services to get people to sign up more.
As a traditionalist, I think that real cons should be about comics and the people who create them, not the properties with which they spawn.
I mean, like, there is an excitement when you go to a con, though, where you get panels and stuff and, announcements and everything.
Well, that's the thing, too.
That makes it kind of fun. I mean,
the idea of going to a panel where you can actually interact and ask questions with panelists as opposed to just watching a video online,
and hoping that they'll, like, where you've got like 50 times more people watching the video, and you're hoping that they may pick the question that you typed in.
But there's also something more exciting about, like, being in a panel and standing in front of the creator that you like and actually asking him the question in front of an audience.
But that's something different. You're talking about creators. We're not talking about creators. We're talking about people making TV shows.
Oh, okay.
Well,
but at a
the
panel, and Chris Hemsworth is there, and you get to ask Chris Hemsworth a question at the panel in front of everyone. Whereas as online, you type in the question and no one sees you ask it.
There are far more people in the seats than there are lining up to take questions to ask questions at those things, though. The vast majority of people at those things are happy to sit and listen.
Right.
So that's like you're playing to the average, right? The average person that goes to those things would rather listen than actively
I'm saying, like, some of
participate.
these virtual cons, they're allowing you to ask a question, but, like, you have to type it in, submit it beforehand. It's not the same as actually asking the questions.
And again, like, in one of, like, even the New York Comic Con, you're going to get maybe 500 people in one of those rooms. In one of these online video things, you'll get like 50,000 people, or something like that. The chances of you getting a question asked or whatever, and it's just not the same of being able to sit there and say, "Hey, I'm in spitting distance of, like, Black Widow. Here we go." It's like this is
you still have your restraining order, so.
I know.
Yeah, parallel argument. Let me counter that. I don't have to stand in line with a bunch of sweaty people and sit next to someone that I don't know.
Hey, we resemble those people.
Exactly. I like the sweaty people.
Oh, I don't. I hate that. I hate getting in those panels. Like, I like panels, but I hate standing in line and waiting and hoping you get a decent seat. And it's just like there's so many humans there. This is better.
I like people.
Overrated.
Speaking as a extroverted introvert, these Comic-Cons and everything, and those people you're talking about, those are some of the only times I ever feel happy.
I don't think anyone's taking a convention. Yeah, I don't think it was taking conventions away though. Like I think they're going to be more comics focused and less media focused because they don't care. Like
No.
they don't. I mean, the people making the comics care. Like you're their audience. Like they want to hear from you. The people making the TV shows, they don't give a shit what you think. They don't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
True, but
Like I don't know. You can tweet at Chris Hemsworth. Maybe he answers a question. You know what I mean? Like there's chances for interaction.
But or Tara Strong or the cast of Doctor Who or stuff like that. There's
They're
like
still. I think they're still going to do that stuff at Comic Cons, though. I don't think they're taking that away. I think that they're going to want to do their own thing, and why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want to control their own message? Because when you're at a Comic Con and there's 10 other presentations, and you're trying to fight for space, isn't it better for them to host their own thing?
Well, that's been happening a lot in the tech world too. That's why Apple has its own thing now. And
because why fight for attention? I mean, you can create your own event and get attention if you can host something. And Netflix, let's be real, Netflix is doing good, but they're not what they once were. Like they're not the only game in town, and they're struggling. Right. They're struggling for eyes and relevancy too. Like they're still the most powerful, but they've been in the game the longest.
True.
But again, like if they let up on the gas pedal, Disney's going to pass them.
Yeah.
So why fight Disney when you can control them? I mean, like it's very Big Brotherish, but I get it from a business point of view. Like, and I still think they'll host I still think you're gonna be able to meet the cast of Doctor Who at like Comic-Con or something like that. They just won't have those gigantic announcements, or maybe they split them up. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I agree.
If it's my dollar as a business, I'm going to host my own event rather than spend a fortune to rent out space.
Yeah, no, that's true. And the whole thing of waiting for conventions to make announcements, we're past that, I think, because of social media. People want to know things right away. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be interesting.
Interesting? Is that your word of the day?
Better than not interesting.
Just like with we've been hearing rumors for a while that the Spider-Man trailer is going to come out.
Yeah, I believe when I see it.
We have actually yet to see it, so
fun.
Very fun.
Very fun.
We faded out of this one.
I think we're
ending with a whimper. So let's my wife just sent me a picture of the dog. She crapped on the floor.
Let's keep this going so you don't have to clean it up.
Yeah, glad I'm in here, not downstairs right now. She doesn't listen to the show. I got away with one. No, as I was going to say, so next week, are we going to review? Because next week Loki started, or Wednesday. By the time when this show hits this evening, right? The show comes out on Wednesday. Loki will be a thing.
Yep.
So we're back to our 40 minutes of discussion on the new Marvel show. I've missed it. I've missed overanalyzing every shot and every choice that's made, and thinking about what it means in the greater scheme of my existence and the existence of the MCU and the nature of reality.
So it's all Mephisto. I mean Kang. I mean Mephisto. I mean
Mephistang.
Mephistang. Yeah. Ooh.
Episode title 2. No.
Well, and this is definitely going to be a show where I think we're probably going to be talking about everything that goes on in it. It's going to be more along the lines of WandaVision in that sense, as opposed to Falcon Winter Soldier, which was very straightforward.
It wasn't. I like Falcon Winter Soldier a lot, but I don't think it was like a fun show. Like it was a show that made you think, right? And it hit you with the action, and then like made you think of the nature of society. This show seems like it's going to be a little bit more loose. Like it's Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson doing Doctor Who, basically.
Yeah. Time jumping or reality jumping.
Yeah, Doctor Why Not, if you will.
Righting things that once went wrong.
Wronging things that once went right.
Yeah.
Hoping each time the next leap will be the leap home.
We'll be nowhere near home. God. So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, this is the evil quantum leap.
Yes.
It's
Loki leap.
I just can't wait to see the battle between Owen Wilson and Loki. Like,
It's going to be fun. I'm very curious to see Tom Hiddleston on his own, not playing off of Chris Hemsworth, right? Like this is going to be a fun thing for him. I'm very excited. And then we're also going to review Stormfront. So are we still doing that next week? You want to push it a week because Loki premieres? How do we want to do this?
now we're going to be talking about Loki every week, right? So we
Yeah,
might as
yeah.
well do them both.
So
There's our
JD, get your ass in gear and read the book. Got it.
Is that what it's all about? You don't want to clean up poop and you don't want to read the book.
No, I want to read the book. I could always use more time. Summertime with a 5-year-old is intense. Let me tell you.
And who knows? Maybe the Spider-Man trailer come out, so it'll be Loki,
Yeah, right.
social nerd madness, and Spider-Man trailer.
There
and
is no Spider-Man trailer. It's never gonna happen.
there's a movie coming out. I could have
Next year?
No,
So next year or this winter?
It's coming out the end of this year, but there's a movie coming out, a Sony movie coming out this weekend that they're saying they think the trailer's attached to.
That is quite possible.
And also, there are people online who work at movie theaters that have confirmed that the trailer has been sent out to theaters. So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why the rumor is that it's attached to this new Sony.
They could just throw a giant spider logo on that and go December, and people are going to go. They don't have to show us anything. Like, remember the first Phantom Menace trailer, and we didn't know anything, and we were all excited.
Oh, right. It was the mist thing. They had the mist scene,
which was literally like a split second in the movie.
And all you heard was music of like, yeah, Star Wars.
And you're like, I have no idea what this is about. I can't wait to see trade negotiations.
Yeah.
What are we trading?
Go back into, I want to say, I can't remember what year it was, probably late 80s, maybe 90, in the movie theater. And there was the Captain America's shield goes flying across the screen.
Oh yeah,
it says Captain America incoming, whatever, blah. And obviously we know that movie never came out. But
it came out to video, and we all learned why it never came out.
But a lot of people got excited just from seeing the shield fly by and date. So
Guilty.
Yeah. So.
Well, because that was right after Batman came out, so I assumed all superhero movies were going to look like that now.
Exactly.
What a chump I was.
Not only that all the superheroes were going to get movies at that point.
Well, they were trying to make all these superhero movies, and it just didn't happen. Like, everything was in development, but nothing got made other than, a handful of things here and there. Like, odd movies get made. Steel got made.
Yeah.
It's a movie set in the Superman universe.
Without Superman.
But with Venom?
But with Shaquille O'Neal. That's a great comparison, actually. No one has made. Venom is the Steel of the MCU.
No. I'm sorry. I have to admit, I stole that from So Wizard podcast.
Oh, I don't remember that point. I don't remember them saying that. Did they?
And Joey made it in the most recent episode. They were talking about the Morbius. What was it? Oh no, they were talking about the Craven movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I missed last week's episode. Okay.
And they were talking about the Craven movie, and it was like, yeah, it's like Steel, Superman movie set in the Superman universe that may not contain Superman. But
did they Spider-Man, even? I don't remember. Did they even mention Superman in the Steel movie?
Oh, I don't think so. It was so long. I don't even think I watched the whole thing. It was so bad.
I watched it in high school as like one of those things you rent terrible movies just to rent them, and I don't think I made it through it, to be honest with you. So I don't remember.
Yeah. Shaquille O'Neal is Steel. It was
an inspired choice at the time.
At the time,
but a bad one.
They thought it was bankable.
I think it did make money. I don't think it made a lot of money.
Well, at least now he gets to do the general commercials.
Let's not never feel bad for Shaq. Shaq's made a lot of money doing a lot of things. Shaq is.
Oh, I don't feel bad for Shaq.
Yes,
and he's a happy guy, and he's yeah.
He's doing some wrestling now too.
Oh my God,
he is.
He's a big guy to be a wrestler.
There's a lot of big wrestlers, and he was actually pretty good at it for 50-year-old dude, broken down basketball player. But yes, looking forward to reviewing Stormfront next week.
All right, wow, we have gone off the rails at the end here. All right, so on that note, guys, have any recommendations for our audience this week? John?
To Your Eternity. It is an anime that is way different than any other anime out in the last I don't know. Like it's just very different. I mean, and it's kind of dark, and the premise is incredibly interesting. To some weird god takes a stone, throws it onto the earth, not this earth, like another earth, and gives the stone just these properties to learn. And slowly the stone starts to, learn how to become a dog, and then a bear, and then human, and then like it's a slow burn, and the storytelling is just freaking amazing. So
Okay. Cool.
I can't say more than that. I don't want to spoil more of it. So.
All right, JD.
I just finished Later by Stephen King, his latest book. It took me a while to get through it just because I've been so busy. It plays off like the term supernatural thriller is used to describe a lot of his books, but this is literally like a cop thriller type of thing that has ghosts and stuff like that. And it's not his best work, but it's fun, and there's just enough winks and nods to his old stuff to make you, oh yeah, I know this one. It's technically a super quick read. It just took me forever to get through it because life has been getting in the way. But it was an enjoyable read. The Institute was better. If It Bleeds was better. This one's pretty good though. So if you're looking for a quick summer read that's a little thrilling, a little ghostly, Later by Stephen King.
Cool. All right. Well, I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to our social media at the top of the page, and of course, comic book reviews by our good friend D Square. I'm also going to recommend, if you're listening to the podcast, go to youtube.com/superheroespeak and subscribe to us there, because you can actually see our beautiful faces smiling at you every week. Smile, guys, smile. And I am going to recommend, if you have never read Jim Butcher's series, The Dresden Files, you should go read Stormfront, because we are going to be talking about that next week. And
that's your homework. You have homework now.
He is the father of urban fantasy, and it is one of the best fantasy novel series out there. So yeah, I highly recommend it. All right. So on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for hanging out, and don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.